Okay, so because I forgot to save our recording from class today, I'm going to try my best to recreate some of the important things we talked about during our math lesson today for this video. Today we learned about chapter 2.1, which is all about placing the first digit of our quotient when we do division problems. Our learning goal today is to be able to correctly place the first digit of the quotient by estimating and also using what we know about place value. Okay, let's take a look at this problem. It says Tanya has 8 purple daisies. In all, she counts 128 petals on her flowers. If each flower has the same number of petals, how many petals are on one flower? We know this question is asking us how many petals are on each flower if every flower has the same number of petals. We know that she has 128 petals in all to be shared equally among the 8 purple daisies. We know then, therefore, that this is a sharing math problem because we know the total number of petals, 128, which need to be shared equally amongst the 8 purple daisies. Therefore, we know that to solve this math problem, we would do 128 divided by 8. So now the question is, how do we know where to put the first digit of our quotient, of our answer, without even dividing? One way you can do this is to use an estimate to place the first digit of the quotient. We know that the number 160 can be easily divided by 8. We know that 160 divided by 8 is 20. 160 is pretty close to 128, which is our original dividend. So therefore, we know that the quotient must start in the tens place. Therefore, we know that the quotient for our division problem, 128 divided by 8, must also begin in the tens place. Now that we know that the quotient starts in the tens place, we are ready to divide. Let's look at the tens. We have 12 tens. We know that 8 goes into 12 one time. 1 times 8 is 8. If we subtract, we have 4 tens left. After we've divided the tens, we can regroup any tens that are left as ones. We had 4 tens left, so let's regroup that into 40 ones. We also have 8 ones originally in the dividend, so that gives us a total of 48 ones. 8 goes into 48 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48, leaving us with a remainder of 0. Therefore, we know that each of Tanya's 8 daisies must have 16 petals on them. The question is, how does estimating the quotient help you both at the beginning and at the end of a division problem? Well, as we saw with Tanya and her flowers, we know that estimating at the beginning helps us figure out where to place the first digit of our quotient. Our original dividend was 128, which is pretty close to 160. We like the number 160 because it's easy to divide that by our divisor, which is 8. We can do that in our head, and we know really quickly that the answer is 20. Therefore, we can really easily start to know that our division problem our quotient needs to start in the tens place. Estimating, and that's how it helps you at the beginning of a division problem. Estimating also helps you at the end of a division problem because, like Sarah said in class, it tells you the zone or about how big your answer needs to be. When we got our answer of 16, we knew that we were in the zone because it was close to our original estimate of 20. That helps us see that our answer is reasonable. Now let's take a look at this problem. 4,236 divided by 5. Our dividend, of course, is 4,236, and our divisor is 5. We need to figure out where should I place my first digit of my quotient. All right, so in our head, we can think, what number is pretty close to 4,236 that's easily divisible by 5? Well, I know that 4,000 divided by 5 is 800. 800. Therefore, I know that in my division problem, and that starts in the hundreds, therefore I know that in my new division problem, my quotient must also start in the hundreds. I'm going to put a big circle around the hundreds place in the dividend as well as in the quotient to help me remember that my first digit needs to start in the hundreds. Once I know that, I'm ready to begin dividing. I can see that I have 42 hundreds, and again, I'm starting in the hundreds because my estimate helped me determine that I need to start by placing my first digit in the hundreds place. All right, I know that 5 can go into 42 hundreds 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. If I do some subtraction, I can see that I have 2 hundreds left. Well, I can't really put 5. 5 doesn't go into 2, so I'm going to have to regroup those 2's as tens. That gives me 20 tens plus these 3 tens that are up here. Now I have 23 tens altogether. 5 goes into 23 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. Do some subtraction. I have 3 tens left. I'm going to have to regroup those tens now into ones. My 3 tens can be regrouped into 30 ones. If I combine that with the 6 ones I have up here, that's 36 ones altogether. 5 goes into 36 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35, giving me a remainder of 1. Since my remainder is smaller than my divisor, I know that this is truly a remainder. My answer, then, is 847, remainder 1. Let me check back with my estimate to see if I'm in the zone. Let me see if my answer is reasonable. 847, remainder 1, is pretty close to 800. I know that my answer is reasonable and I feel good about my work. So today in class, we were required to do pages 65 to 66, numbers 1 through 7, 21 through 23. Okay, if you haven't finished this, I want you to finish those numbers for homework, in addition to the homework that you already have assigned. Now remember, if you're kind of confused about how to do division, that's okay. What is required today from your homework is for you to figure out, using estimation, where to place the first digit of the quotient. To show me that you've done that, I want you to put a big circle around the correct place value, both in the quotient as well as in the dividend, and then figure out what that first number should be once you've figured out the place value that the first digit should go in. Okay, so again, you do not need to complete all the division problems today unless you already feel comfortable doing so. All I need to see in your homework and classwork for tomorrow is a big circle around the correct place value in the dividend and the quotient and the correct number that goes in that circle. All right, thank you so much.